Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. I'm here with my friend Doug Killian. He's an engineer, but I don't want to talk about brands so much. I thought let's have a conversation that came with my mind. On my forum, I wrote about 1,000 words, these ideas I had in my head.
Okay.
Because I wake up in the morning like, "Ooh," I'm like, I hate those mornings. But let's start with this. How many years have you been an automotive engineer?
Over 30. It'll be 31 in June. All at what I'll call Chrysler.
Right.
We've made different names. But yeah, I've been at Chrysler for over 30 years.
And you've done development as far as your lead development now for engines and powertrains, but you've done other stuff throughout your career.
Yeah, and right now it's full vehicle development. So not necessarily engine powertrains, but the entire vehicle,
Okay.
the vehicle development for trucks.
Okay, so I think what people don't understand, and I know that you do this, is that people think that engineers like work in silos, never read any comments online, don't engage with the audience at all.
Okay.
But I happen to think, I kind of know, that you read forums and you read comments all the time.
I do. Yeah. I mean, I'll say I scan if something's particularly interesting, maybe go down that rabbit hole a little bit. Yeah, but that's another voice of customer for us.
Right. And
yeah.
So people email all the time, like, ask your engineer this. And I'm like, just post it on the forum or post it on YouTube because you guys will eventually see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
That's how you talk to these guys. You don't have to email me.
Yeah.
So, but how much willpower does it take to hold back, not like create an account and be like, hey, look here, buddy. Bah, 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 bah.
You know, I'll say, hey, I'm a consumer of products as well.
Right.
So, yeah, if people are giving us feedback, that's great. I'm giving feedback other places. I'm giving feedback to other products in Stellantis. I mean, we have voices. We call it voice of customer, and we're gonna talk about it. So I can relate to everyone that's putting a comment out there. I can relate to what they're saying.
Okay. Yeah. So people are asking a lot of questions because we've seen things change as far as product testing.
Sure.
So back 30 years ago, right, you didn't have CAD, you didn't have all the computers you have now.
Yeah.
So you did a lot of like real world driving around, trying to figure out every situation you can find.
Yes.
So from your viewpoint, do you think testing has gotten better the last 30 years? Do you think you're testing to a higher standard? Or do you think that maybe, like the criticism I'm hearing is there's too much computers involved, not enough real world?
Okay. Yeah, certainly we've gone to more computers, more simulation, but that has also advanced dramatically in the last 30 years. I mean, computing power, even in the last, say, 5 years, has gotten so much better. As an automaker, we're trying to be efficient as well. So when we're testing, I mean, we're testing out here, as I mentioned this morning, day in the life of the engineer. We are out here confirming and validating our products, but we're only doing it in hardware out here once we've proven it in simulation. Okay. So yes, we are engineering, but we're not just experimenting. I mean, if anyone's built something, you kind of want to lay out, I mean, I'll just, off the top of my head, you're going to build a deck. You don't just go out and buy a bunch of lumber, throw it in your backyard and say, let's build a deck. No, you lay it out, you design it, you know what your sections are going to be. You have a plan, you engineer it, so to speak, and then you go do it. So I'll say we're doing more and more design, simulation, and then we're out here proving it out.
Okay.
It's not efficient for us to be building thousands of prototype vehicles and learning on those in the early stages. So yes, we learn things when we're out here, when we're testing, whether it's off-road, whether it's on grades, towing, dynamics, NVH, you name it, we're learning stuff. But we're basically learning things that we couldn't simulate. So yes, rest assured, we are in hardware. You'll see our trucks out here sometimes with camouflage when we're fairly early on. We're testing stuff that we just simply can't simulate. And we can't convince a customer who has a problem that, hey, here's a simulation that says it should work. No, we actually have data that says, here's how we proved to ourselves that it does work.
Okay. I've gotten a lot of pushback online recently, a lot of discussions back and forth, because I've talked about on this channel, I've made kind of homework on this channel, talking about reliability a lot.
Okay.
I love talking about reliability because it's a key factor, right? The truck's a tool.
Yeah.
If your tool doesn't turn on, you're out of work that day.
Right.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
So I'm curious because you, like I said, 30 years you've done. This is 2025, so you're back to 1990s. You've done this whole spectrum of, we've added turbocharged on some powertrains. We've added multi-speed transmissions. We have more sensors. A lot of people are saying, well, new vehicles now are just crap. Reliability's terrible. They want to go back in time when reliability was better.
Okay.
So if I said that to you, that new vehicles are crap, we should go back to when we didn't have the stuff on there.
Okay.
It's going to be more reliable, you would say.
I would say that, and I'm a numbers guy. I'm an engineer. You know that, right? And I look back when I was working in a plant as a quality engineer back in the 90s, actually. And we were measuring quality, and we measure when customers do come in for warranty in Right now, problems per 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, back then it was problems per 100, and the number we use, like the value of problems per 100. So I can kind of see that as like almost a tenfold improvement in quality if we're X problems per 100 and now we're X problems per 1,000. We had to actually change the scale because quality was getting so much better. And we were starting to get down to, fractions of a problem per 100 vehicles sold. Yeah, we had to literally change the scale. In my tenure looking at this kind of stuff.
Huh. That's interesting. See, I've always thought problems per 100. That's a lot. But that leads to the natural question. Okay, we talked about testing.
Okay.
And you guys are out here doing physical prototypes plus in the lab.
Yep.
Talking about reliability, but then people are saying a lot of noise right now with recalls. There's always recalls in news. I mean, and I've kind of made the argument, and we'll see if you agree with this.
Okay.
I've made the argument that the problem with recalls isn't that the number. Number's actually been the same. You look at NHTSA.gov and recalls per year by different model years.
Sure.
It's been about the same. The challenge now is that it gets published more. Every recall becomes like a major issue.
Yeah.
Like, every Monday morning we get a NHTSA.gov email that shows recalls about this long.
Okay.
And we click through them, and there's like one that has like 20 trucks, or one that's got like 10, or one, so it's like there's a lot of small ones that we don't report on.
Okay.
But it seems like a lot of people are like, man, that's got a problem. It's known issue, recall. So when you see that stuff, as far as your viewpoint of recalls over the years, do you feel like it's gotten to be more recalls more often now, or do you feel like it's just kind of just a situation in the news media?
I think it's a combination of the two. I mean, certainly they're more visible. It is public information, and we're not, I'll say as an automaker, we're not trying to hide anything in our competitors. We are all, in fact, not even just in automotive, products get recalled in general. So I think it's a responsibility at some level, especially if something is safety related or a regulatory emissions. I mean, there's certain levels where, hey, if there's something that needs to be addressed and it's out in the field, it's not in our hands. Well, now we need to reach out to those customers. So there's a point where it's just the responsible thing to do.
Right.
And in many cases, we want to make sure customers are happy with their products, that they're safe in their products, that our products are responsible for emissions and compliance. Those are just fundamentals of responsible product engineering. So to me, a recall is not necessarily a bad thing because it's the automaker doing what's right by their customer or the product maker, no matter what it is.
So, Kenny, I told you this off the video, off topic.
Yeah.
But we were saying outside. I said, let me. If I said this statement to you, what would you say? The title is, "My truck is broken with a known issue, and the automaker won't fix it."
I would say that would surprise me if the automaker won't fix it. I mean, certainly at Ram, at our Stellantis brands, we want to keep our customers happy. I mean, that's the main thing, is we want to build great vehicles. We want people happy driving those vehicles, and we also want people to have their vehicles last a long time. So there's not a point where an engineer is going to say, hey, I want this part to break, or we want the vehicle to have problems so that they buy a new one. Well, they're not going to buy the same product. So we would say, hey, we want people to be happy driving their vehicles. We want people to recommend a Stellantis, a Ram truck, a Jeep, a Dodge. We want people to recommend those to their friends. So we want people happy in our vehicles in general. No one's saying, hey, we want to design this thing so it'll break. We're saying, what does the customer going to do with this? What are they going to do with this truck? How is it going to keep them happy? And then they'll want to buy another one, and they'll recommend it to their friends.
Yeah. I think that's how I see it too. Like, I remember working at Taco Bell in the early 20s. They did a study that said if a customer came in and bitched about a taco, it cost the company like $250,000 because of all the business of him not going back to Taco Bell ever, him telling his friends not to come back to Taco Bell ever, and all that stuff adds up. So the story was, it costs them a nickel to make a taco. Give them a new taco.
All right.
Just be done with it. So I got one final question for you. This is the frustration I hear online a lot. There are some concerns with some engines as far as reliability throughout the lineup, and people can pick out things like they had lifter issues in this one, or a bearing issue on that one, or a turbo issue with that one. But it seems like to the public that those known issues never get solved, or it takes them forever to get a fix. So from an engineering standpoint, why does it take so long when you have a known issue on something or a problem, and why does it take so long to get that resolved? I think people want to live in this Amazon kind of world.
Yeah.
And it's like, why does it take so long to get something like that fixed?
Well, it's I hate to say it depends, but it depends on the nature of the issue. That if we've built an engine, and the reason we put so much energy into our validation is to make sure that that engine's going to do everything that we expect a customer could do with the engine. So if there's a defect somewhere, or if there's a problem, yeah, we want to address that. I mean, we can usually address those very quickly, especially if something's out of conformance to a material specification or a dimensional specification. We quickly fix that stuff. I mean, we very quickly will address anything that is out of conformance.
Okay.
If there's something that's a design change that says, okay, well, we have fundamentally, a customer wants a bigger radio. Okay, we can't just, put a bigger radio in the vehicle. It's our electrical systems are all networked together. That would be a design change. So I'll say our ability to address defects, we can do very quickly. Ability to address design satisfaction or design points usually takes another generation. Like we're talking about the 25 model year heavy duty here.
Yeah.
As we were looking at the design and going back, we say, okay, as we're doing a refresh, what do we want to change? What can we change? What should we change? And what should we just leave it well enough alone because it's reliable, we know it, and sometimes change isn't always good for change for the sake of change. We're going to make a change to make something better.
Sorry, I had one more. You remind me one more thing.
One more.
Here you go. So I see this comment a lot as well. Ford F-150 is now delayed 1 year because they had some issues, maybe suppliers. They just wanted to delay it by a year.
Okay.
The comment came out. They said, "Thank you, Ford, for delaying the vehicle so you work on the problems and get all the generation fixed."
Okay.
So people have this thought that you have to stop the company to fix the issues before you can move forward. How do you see that?
Well, we do our development on a timeline, and okay, this is an example of Ford, but there's times we say we're not gonna launch a product until it's right. We're not gonna put it in customers' hands until it's right. We don't like to have to do that, but there's a point where we're not gonna put a truck, in this case, on the road if it's not right.
Okay.
So we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and we stretch our teams very hard to meet our commitments. So when we're going to put a truck on the road, that's fully our intention. Now, sometimes the market shifts, and the product, the appetite for the product can change, and so sometimes we'll take more development time if the appetite's not there for the product. We'll take more time to, to ensure that it's right. So
there you go. Interesting stuff. For more interesting stuff, see what I did there?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Over here, more videos. Website down below, pickuptrucktalk.com. As always, thanks for watching. We will see you down the road.